afterwards for it. Thank you so much. And then I don't have a snappy intro. I'll just I'll just hand it over to our speakers today, Sarah Giffrow of Upswept Creative. Thanks for being here.
Hi. Thanks for having me. And yeah, thank you all for showing up today. Um, so yeah, I've got slides. I'm going to share them. But yeah. So we are going to be talking about how to exist ethically on social media, or at least more ethically than we maybe have previously been, because it has become a tougher and tougher question as time goes on, and that's really hard. So hoping we can make it a little easier at least. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna introduce myself, so I don't need an intro. So I'm the creative director and benevolent overlord of Upswept Creative, and oh, I need to update this. This we are in year 13 of doing websites and online marketing. So yeah, suffice it to say, we know what we're doing. Um, and I started out in websites, and I like to joke that I accidentally became a marketer, but I do have literally 20 years of experience building websites, and I'm from the old internet where we hand coded in HTML and Notepad. So, but yeah, I've had to learn about the marketing and content side of things over the past decade to really understand all the different facets of what makes a successful website and thusly a successful online presence as a whole. And yeah, I most enjoy working with service-based businesses and nonprofits. And yeah, basically solving problems so that ethical and passionate people can do more of what they do best is that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. I just want to help people do what they do and do it really well. And yeah, and yeah, speaking of, we were just talking about barky dogs, but things happen sometimes, and I always want to meet your pets. So if we are ever on a Zoom together, please show them to me. All right. So moving on into it. Yeah, we are all here because we probably know that social media has been a quite established resource for getting eyes on your business. One is that, yeah, it does make you more visible and discoverable, and your audience has to know you exist before they can choose to work with you, right? So, if your audience is using a social media platform, then having a presence there is going to make them more likely to discover you. And it can also bring more traffic to your website, aka the place where you are almost certainly booking folks, selling things, and then all of that. And if you're not on page one of Google, which many of us are not, you might need some help getting found. And so if you're doing social media well, it can absolutely help bring traffic to your website, especially if you're promoting a specific offering or you're launching a new one. And yeah, a big piece of what's nice about social too is that it can help you engage with and nurture potential clients. We've probably heard the saying that it takes approximately 11 billion touches to get a sale, and that's kind of what we're talking about when we say nurture. Social media is a proven method to remind your potential clients of who you are and what you do and why you're so darn brilliant that they should work with you. And yeah, so it kind of helps you accumulate those touches and nudge them towards actually hitting, filling out your contact form or clicking that buy button. But lately there have been major changes to what the social media landscape looks like. So yeah, TikTok came up against a potential ban and then came to some sort of agreement with the federal government to get back into the App Store, which honestly seems pretty suspect. And meanwhile, Meta has fired its fact checkers and updated its policies in ways that make it a noticeably more unsafe space for strategically disadvantaged populations. And they're also, this is more of a nerdy side note for those of us who watch these sorts of things, they're also removing profile views and website clicks from their analytics reporting data. And those are two of the biggest metrics that people like myself look at. So again, that seems pretty suspect. But yeah, all of this is for a little bit, it's made me feel pretty uncomfortable even offering social media services because it seems to be actively trying to become less ethical and harder to use. So yeah, I kind of wanted to throw my phone into the sea, but once I sat and fully processed the news, I came to a few conclusions that I'm going to share with you all, and hopefully you'll find something helpful to take with you. All right, so just to really quickly summarize, like, a few reasons why we should just dump Meta, TikTok, social media in general. And this is all of this happening is a good opportunity to kind of take stock of where things are at with you in this space. So yeah, if you are throwing a consistent keyword being consistent here, amount of time and energy at social media and you're not seeing any real results from it, maybe it's not the right space for you. I mean, maybe you need to be on a different platform, or I mean, we've even had a client where, we've been like, I don't know if if like promoting this product on social media, this offering on social media makes the most sense. There might be, I think in that case, we were like, I think email marketing might be a better channel. So it kind of, there are a lot of variables there. Um, and as we all know, the algorithm is a fickle creature. Um, and yeah, between like format, optimal post times, their varying audiences and their behaviors, it can just be really difficult to know whether something you post is actually going to perform well or, only be seen by your mom. Um, and yeah, there's the very large point of not wanting to give your money or attention to billionaires. And I'm sure many of us were already in this camp before recent events, but now it feels particularly dangerous to feed the beast. So, but on the flip side, there are some potential reasons why you might want to stick around. But yeah, social media is still free to use to promote your business. And if that is working for you, it might be worth sticking around just to, keep things humming along as you expect them to. Similarly, you've probably built up an audience over time who likes you and what you have to offer. So you don't want to just throw that all away, especially if there are like potential clients in that audience who are, somewhere in the middle of that nurture cycle and the 11 billion touches we were talking about. And lastly, it is a powerful venue for amplifying ideas and just causes, like at least it is for now. I mean, we've seen that social media can be a really incredible tool for sharing information and shining a light on issues that might otherwise go unnoticed. I mean, we saw it at like the height of Black Lives Matter in 2020. We're continuing to see it from like community organizations, mutual aid groups. So I mean, my feeling is that for me personally, if my work on social media is going to help just causes gain the visibility that, builds movements, then that feels like work worth doing. So yeah, it may not be true forever because who knows what's coming next, but at this moment in time, there does still seem to be some value in using these platforms to connect and create change. And yeah, I mean, I've had the incredible privilege to do work with these caring, community-minded orgs on social media, especially in more recent years. So, oh yeah, I know firsthand how much impact social media can have even in a system that is stacked against us. Okay, now I'm going to take a breath, drink some water, and yeah, before I like really dig into things, uh I do want to make two very important notes. That I just want to emphasize right out of the gate, it is absolutely okay to make the choice that protects your peace. If you are feeling targeted by recent events, if you need to protect yourself or your family, if you've been doing the activism and revolutionary work for ages and you are just heckin' tired, like whatever the reason, your mental health and your safety should always come first. And among all of your priorities, that includes your business. And so you don't ever need to feel like you're not doing enough for your business just because you aren't doing social media. There are plenty of perfectly successful businesses that don't do social media at all. So never feel obligated to be in that space. It is not your job. And yeah, in a similar vein, if social media is a significant piece of what's working for your business in terms of marketing, then I also don't want you to feel pressured to make a sweeping change to your approach that's going to hurt your business. Like I've seen people just be like, I'm deleting my account, bye. And that is not how I would do it. We'll talk about how I would approach it. But yeah, my feeling is that you'll be better able to make a difference in the world if you're doing what you're meant to be doing and looking after your livelihood and your community. So there is a path to finding a social media existence that works for your business and your ethics. And yeah, any questions before I really dig into it? Okay. So, so yeah, as I just mentioned, I've already started seeing small businesses just fully peel off from meta platforms, and there have been some strong statements out there like, oh, the only choice is to divest completely, and I'm deleting my account and bye everyone. And so yeah, big question is, do you delete your account? And there are some reasons to maybe not do that yet. Um, so one is from a purely practical standpoint, it could be worth hanging on to your username, even if only to ensure that you're keeping as much control as possible over the online presence that is associated with your business name. Um, that, I mean, again, we don't really know what's going to happen necessarily, but yeah, as long as you hold the keys, like then you at least know what's going out through your account. Additionally, old posts can rank in searches. So social SEO is a consideration, and past content that you shared can potentially show up in search results. So it is entirely possible that a particularly informative piece of your content could get found by the right humans. Um, it may also ease your mind a bit that if you just abandon use of your account rather than fully deleting it, yes, an account that exists matters far less to a social media platform's success than the number of active users. If you are not on there liking, sharing, clicking on ads, then you're not really contributing to the juicy metrics that convince corporations to make huge ad buys. So yeah, maintaining that presence is maybe not as harmful as it might feel. And maybe it's just me, but deleting accounts feels a little bit like, an erasure of internet history. You founded your business on specific values and beliefs. A record of that deserves to take up space, and I feel like we're at a point in time where it still feels important for voices like ours to show up in these spaces in some form. Again, that's, if you have the capacity practically and emotionally. So yeah, again, it's a matter of degrees. A lot of these things are a matter of degrees. So we do what fits us. Oh yeah. If we're not going to burn it all down, what do we do instead? All right. So we're going to give ourselves and our audiences time to leave if we are going to leave a platform. And yeah, one very big reason is that even if you've posted that you're leaving, the algorithm, the pesky algorithm, is not necessarily going to show that one lonely post to your following, or even most of your following. And even if it does, it might take time for it to get to its full potential in terms of reach. So definitely leave yourself some runway, leave a few weeks to spread the word. And yeah, if you have the bandwidth, you can draft up a batch of several posts that you'll share over time. You can use them to remind your audience where else they can follow you. Excuse me. And you don't even have to say anything wildly different from one post to the next. So yeah, and if you have a social media scheduling tool handy, you can just batch schedule that content to go out automatically and wash your hands of the whole affair. Um, and if you do have the time and energy, you might also consider hopping on briefly and like resharing your posts about leaving in your stories too, because yeah, there are folks who just hang out in stories and they barely ever look at the feed. And yeah, if you want to like go for gold stars, you could even try varying your posting times or varying your formats to hit different segments of your audience. So, post versus reels, that sort of thing. But yeah, just make sure there's time and space for people to learn what you're doing and where you're going next. Okay. Yeah, any questions at this point? You're welcome to drop them into the chat or unmute. All right, I will take that as a please keep going. Okay. And then yeah, if you are going to leave a social media platform, you probably should know where you're going next so you can tell people where you're going. And there are a few different ways to go about this. Moving to a different platform is always an option, and it's a great excuse to reevaluate your online marketing in general. Like, has your audience changed? Maybe you were looking at like, you know, early stage startups and now you only want to work with medium-sized companies, for example. So yeah, it's a good excuse to kind of take stock in those sorts of things and think about like, oh, has my audience changed? Maybe now they're somewhere else from where they used to be. Um, and similarly, what platforms are they using or potentially moving towards? A lot of people are peeling off of Meta, heading to Blue Sky, for example, which I'm not sure Blue Sky is ready for brands yet, but yeah, it could happen in the future. Um, and also what formats make sense to you is something to consider if you're considering a different platform. For example, people who are like thriving with social content or social video content on TikTok, a lot of them have been like looking to pivot towards YouTube because they're already making video, they're good at it. So why not shift to a different video focused platform? And another option is to drive your following towards your email list. And I am a pretty big proponent of email marketing for a few reasons. It's a platform that everyone uses. Everybody checks their email. Maybe they only check it once a week, but they're going to check it at some point. It's kind of part of living in a society at this point. Um, you can also automate the heck out of your email marketing if you have the time and know how to do it. And the audience you gather is most importantly, it's yours to take anywhere. So yeah, if you decide you're peeling off from like Facebook or Instagram, then you don't really get to take that following with you. But if you decide you want to switch email tools, you can just export your list and import it on a new platform. So yeah, that's once they've opted in, you can take them with you, which is really nice to have ownership of that sort of thing. And yeah, also remember, be mindful of any other channels that you have to be visible. If you have a podcast or you've been thinking about starting one, get folks to listen to it. If you're on like a Substack or a Beehive or something, you can drive your audience that direction. Just use those other channels to keep you in front of the right people. And yeah, and again, format is a big question there. Like a lot of folks are just like, I hate making social media content. So so if you hate it, maybe you look at, if you hate making social content, but you love writing like medium long form articles, then yeah, maybe you go over to like Substack. No, there are a lot of ways to gain exposure to various communities. But yeah, no matter what you choose, definitely remember to ask yourself, do I have the capacity for this? Does this fit my style? And is my audience actually going to see or hear it? All right. Any questions at this point?
I have a quick question for you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Um, with Blue Sky, what about if you're working on a personal brand? I mean, I know it's not really a great place yet for a business brand, but if you're doing some personal branding, do you think that would work?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Blue Sky is in like a big it's in like a moment of change. Because yeah, like historical data has like we were looking at historical data on me and my team and it was like, oh yeah, it's mostly young men on Blue Sky, but that has not been my experience. And I'll especially, over these past couple months or in these next few months, I think the demographics are certainly going to look a lot different. And yeah, I think it can certainly be useful for a personal brand. I follow journalists and artists on that space. I feel like a fair amount of more left-leaning content is showing up over there. So, oh yeah, for a personal brand, I think it's totally worth exploring.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Okay. All right. So once you know what you're doing next, you want to do a little bit of house cleaning before you leave. Get your deposit back. So yeah, speaking of letting your audience know where to find you, uh, we want to make it dead simple for them to make the jump to wherever you are going next. And nobody is going to want to type out that really long URL you left in your Instagram caption. So you want to make sure that your profile page is up to date. And yeah, make sure it has the most current information and links. One of the things that we do for clients is optimizing your profile, so that they get that really quick view of like who you are and what you do. Um, and yeah, include your website, your email list sign up, other social platforms. Just make all of that information really easy to get at and clickable. And if you have a link in bio page, you definitely want to make sure to update that too. And definitely clean it up. I recommend cleaning up your link in bio page regularly. You don't need that you don't need like that event sign up from 2021 or whatever still hanging out in there. But yeah, you want to be able to help your biggest fans find you with a simple click. And you might also consider using a static grid at the top of your profile. And this is an option whether you decide to completely wipe the slate and delete your old content, or if you want to just like or if you want to like keep what you have, but then like have something more static at the top. But it's basically a series of posts that are designed to stand in for as kind of the first impression. So 9 grids and 6 grids are commonly used. So and they often have like interlocking designs. So, oh yeah, they might look like pieces of a picture that you put together. There are some pretty cool ones out there, but yeah, with the right planning, it can be a pathway to warm up new potential clients, and can even kind of feel like a mini sales page almost, if you have your talking points really dialed in. So that basically leaves the door open for Instagram users to land on your profile and get some really good juicy information about how to work with you without you having to like be there all the time and actively participate. Okay. And yeah, before I move on, leave a little more space for questions. Yeah, how are we feeling? Yeah, good. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, let's talk about divesting from meta ads. So yeah, if you're not quitting Meta in the near future, and I'm not either, so no judgment whatsoever. But I am still a big proponent of hitting them where it hurts, aka their wallets. And the single biggest thing you can do in that realm is to divest from meta ads. And the vast majority of any social media platform's revenue is coming from ads. So if you're depriving them of that revenue, that alone can be really powerful. Not to mention, social media ads aren't so great anyway. One reason is that you need a bigger budget than you think. So you can boost a post on Meta for as little as a few dollars. Some people will use those really low ticket buy-ins for to like test different ad variations. That's something that social media marketers will do, but those low ticket buy-ins can also be pretty deceiving. And most any social ads expert is going to tell you that nowadays you probably need like a minimum budget of at least like, $3,000 to make your advertising efforts on social media really pay off. And excuse me. And yeah, that's going to get even muddier as Meta decides to remove various metrics that tell us whether those advertising efforts are successful or not. Um, but yeah, those $10 campaigns are not super likely to make any significant impact on your leads or bookings. So yeah, the only person who's really benefiting is Mark Zuckerberg, and that sucks. Um, and another effect that you might notice if you might have noticed if you've ever done one of those low ticket buy-ins, is that your other content seems to take a performance hit after you boost a post. And yeah, you might notice that your other regular content tends to receive lower than usual visibility. And that's the algorithm doing exactly what it was designed to do. So when they see that you're willing to dish out your hard-earned money to boost your content, it will often respond by deprioritizing your other content. So yeah, kind of basically making you feel like boosting your content is the only way to get anyone to engage with your business. So yeah, we don't want to fall for those petty tricks. So yeah, as far as breaking away from ads, the big things that I would suggest is one, stop clicking on the ads that you are served, and anybody can do that as a user. Yeah, I mean, if you see something in an ad that you really have to have, like I will just open a browser tab and Google it, and yeah, it's a little more effort, but you know what, we are we are paying a lot of money for convenience, and yeah, it's a little extra work, but it's worth doing. So yeah, we can stop clicking on ads as users, and then the performance goes down, and hopefully people will buy less of them. So that's a good effect. And then similarly, if you are someone who feels like, oh, I'm not in a place where I can break away from ads yet, definitely look closely at those click-through rates. because yeah, again, you know, it doesn't matter if 1,000 people or 100,000 people see your ad, because yeah, some outfits get paid based on number of exposures, but really the thing that you are looking for is them actually clicking through and looking at what you have to offer. And yeah, if you're able to look at your web stats too to see if they, once they've clicked through from social, if they actually take that follow through to actually purchase or book something, like, yeah, pay attention to those things because that's going to tell you if those ads are really doing you any good or not. And we also want to be working towards a strategy that doesn't need paid ad buys. So there are several ways you can do that. One is to strengthen your presence on other platforms. So a really simple first step is to share content that you create on other platforms too. That can be made much simpler with a social media scheduling tool. But yeah, if your audience is on another platform, you can use that scheduler to show up there too. So at least you're not, even if you're not hyper tailoring your content to each platform, like someone like I would do, it's still helping you show up there at the very least. And yeah, as I alluded to earlier, this is a good time to audit your overall online marketing efforts, and take a look at who your audience is now, not 2 or 3 years ago, and think about where they're spending time online. And are you talking to the same audience on the same platforms? Has your audience changed? Are they still using the same platforms? Like, if your audience is like, peace out, Meta, I can't deal with you anymore, then yeah, maybe you don't need to be there as much as you used to be. But yeah, think about who you're talking to and where they're hanging out, and think about how you can adjust to those changes. And we also want to shore up our organic social strategy. So if you haven't been super on point with your organic social media postings, you should be making a plan to strengthen that. Because the more results you see from your organic activities on social media, then the less you'll need to use ad buys to get eyes on things.
I
Okay.
have a question.
Yes.
Hello. You mentioned scheduling tools a couple of times. Do you have
Yeah.
a favorite?
Yeah. We've been using Metricool most recently. Yeah, I like they have a really nice analytics data for people who are into that sort of thing. But yeah, it's a solid scheduling tool. And then later is also a good one. They've also historically been like pretty generous with like some of the information that they offer about like social media tools and tactics. So just even if you don't use them, they're good to follow. But yeah, I think those would be my top two right now.
Cool. Thank you. It hadn't occurred to me that a scheduler could also give me some feedback in addition to just automating postings. So that's great
Yeah.
to know.
Yeah. I mean, there's usually a bit of cost involved, but yeah, like a lot of the really good social media tools are going to give you some kind of data reporting, or at least help you see all of that stuff in one place, which is really nice. Okay. And since I mentioned shoring up organic social strategy, so yeah, it might be like, how do I even do that? And and yeah, later and metrical. I'm gonna type it into the chat. There's the question in the chat. The tools I mentioned. There we go. Okay, so yeah, later and metrical were the tools that I mentioned. Um, all right, so as far as getting going on organic social media, I feel like just being aware of these points is going to get you pretty far. And if you're DIYing things, one is consistency, and that doesn't mean posting constantly or even daily. With certain platforms like, yeah, like Blue Sky might be one of them, but kind of the Twitter style feed where it's more up to the minute, you might be expected to post more often. But with a lot of platforms, like most of our small business clients do perfectly fine with around 3 posts a week. So yeah, you don't have to be showing up constantly. Like I think the orgs we've worked with that have posted any more than that have been like really large organizations with a lot going on. And they usually have pretty large teams. So, oh yeah, most small businesses, solopreneurs, like yeah, you don't need to be posting every day or multiple times a day. So don't stress yourself out. Just pick a schedule that's sustainable for you, whether it's 3 posts a week or even just one. But yeah, just pick something and stick to it and keep it consistent. So yeah, so your audience knows what to expect. And then interestingness, there's probably a more concise word for that, but in short, yeah, give the people what they want. Give them something that's useful or something that's funny or something that's revolutionary, but make it something your audience will want to look at for more than zero point 0.2 seconds. And you can definitely play with formats there. I find that folks who are, if you're strong with video, then like use Reels because Reels tend to perform pretty well in a lot of instances. Excuse me. But yeah, for those of us who are stronger in the written space, like myself, you can go with the multi-slides, the carousels, and those can do really well too, and you can pack a lot of information into them. So, but yeah, just give folks something, give folks something that they'll want to look at and feel enriched by. And thirdly, there is action, and I'm going to recommend putting a call to action at the end of every caption. And I'm not kidding. And even I could be better about that. But on social media, as it often is in life, we have to ask for what we want. So yeah. Yeah, if you are a small business person, you've probably heard 1,000 times to ask for the sale. So use that call to action, ask for the sale. But also keep in mind that while you should be asking for a sale at least some of the time, you don't always have to have your CTA be about a sale. You could simply ask for a click through to a blog post or ask your audience to DM you to, get a new freebie that you're offering, or ask them to leave a comment with their thoughts on the thing you just posted about. But the goal is to ask for some sort of action that's going to support what you're hoping to achieve in your business, whether you're asking for a sale or, asking them for their interaction so that your account gets seen by more people. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be like, please buy things from me. It can be any number of things. But yeah, put a call to action in there every time. Okay. So, I've made some recommendations that may sound great to you, or they may not. Um, but yeah, I want us to recognize that how to engage with social media, it is ultimately a personal decision, even if we're doing it for business. And it really matters that we feel aligned with the choices that we're making in that space, or at least that we're preparing to get to a place where we feel aligned with how we're showing up. So as you move through all of this, remember to not simply think about what serves your audience or what serves your business, but also about what serves you as a human being and what fits in with your values and what works with your capacity, both from a practical and an emotional standpoint. And whether you make certain adjustments to your social media approach or you quit it entirely, you do have options. So do what you need to do to take care of your business and your village and be as radical as you want to be. And and that's all I've got in terms of presentation. But yeah, I'm here for questions now. If you think of something later, you can shoot me an email. We're also on Instagram and LinkedIn, at least for now. We are dipping our toes in a blue sky too. So if you're there, we'd love a follow. And then I also have links for a 20-minute marketing chat. I'm no sales involved, just, if you want to like workshop a thought you have or a question that you can get on my calendar. And then lastly, we have a weekly series called Social Media Snack Break. So yeah, we put out little bite-sized tips every Tuesday that goes straight to your inbox, as far as how to just deal with being on social and how to make sure that you get the most for the time and energy that you're putting into it. But yeah, I am open for any questions, or y'all can have some time back.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Um,
Yeah, you're
I really appreciate the call out to just divest from ads, both as users, like consumers and users. Um, you can make the most of the free components and not sell our attention. It seems like a pretty accessible way to start. Anyway, all right. Thanks everybody for being here. If there are no other questions, I'll close the meeting and I'll share out the recording to this session for everyone who registered, and then it'll also be archived in our member portal for all of time. Um, no, sorry, that's weird. That's a weird thing to say. I'm having a weird day. Um, thank you. Oh my God, now. Love you so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Sarah.
Never let me use the mic. Goodbye.
Thank you.